What is going on with the sale of the Lakers? It was reported today that majority of the siblings that own the shares remaining in the Los Angeles Lakers have voted to sell those shares. Now we find out that after all this reporting that this all was done and all that stuff, Jeanie Buss comes out and all the siblings receive a letter from her lawyer saying that without her consent, they can't sell anything because she has majority ownership of all of that and makes the final decision.
The iconic Los Angeles Lakers find themselves trapped in an unbelievable court battle, all because the six Buss family siblings cannot stop warring over their multi-billion-dollar inheritance. In a jaw-dropping move that sent shockwaves across the entire sports world, 5 of the 6 Buss siblings secretly voted to sell their family's remaining 17.8% ownership stake in the team. But just when the sports media landscape declared the end of an era, Jeanie Buss dropped a massive legal hammer, completely blocking the transaction and proving once again that you simply cannot force out purple and gold royalty without a brutal, scorched earth fight. This is not just another corporate board meeting dispute. This is an all-out Shakespearean civil war occurring inside one of the most valuable, glamorous, and prestigious sports empires on planet Earth. We are talking about a record-breaking $12.5 billion valuation, private trust agreements, backstabbing leaks to national media, and a family legacy that is unraveling right in front of our eyes.
So exactly 4 hours ago, Shams Charania posted this tweet, and it said, "Breaking, the Buss family has decided to sell its remaining 17.8 ownership stake in the Los Angeles Lakers to new majority owners Josh Kushner and Bob Iger," sources tell ESPN. The Buss family trust, composed of siblings Jeanie, Jim, Johnny, Jane, Joey, and Jesse, all freaking J's, received majority votes to allow trustees to execute a sale. It required 4 of 6 votes to enact the tag-along provision of Mark Walter's sale to Kushner and Iger, which valued the Lakers at $12.5 billion.
Do you think Jeanie Buss should hold on to control of the Los Angeles Lakers forever, to honor her father's legacy? Or is it finally time for the Buss family to step aside, take their billions, and let a new era of ultra-wealthy corporate owners run the franchise? Drop your thoughts and hot takes in the comments section below. To truly grasp the sheer scale of this nuclear explosion inside the Lakers front office, you have to trace the timeline back to how this insane story first hit the wire. Because the way this news broke was a masterclass in media manipulation, corporate maneuvering, and calculated family revenge.
Then another one comes out where he says, once a transaction is completed, Jeanie Buss will no longer have the required ownership percentage to remain governor. NBA guidelines require controlling governor to own at least 15% of the franchise. Then he posts 4 hours ago, statement from the Buss family ESPN, "We've decided as a family to sell the remaining Buss family trust shares to the Bob Iger Group as part of the ongoing transaction. We love the Lakers fans, and continue to support the Los Angeles Lakers, blah, 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 blah." Then another one comes out 4 hours later, ESPN link.
It all began when ESPN's senior NBA insider Shams Charania dropped what appeared to be a world-altering report. The initial headlines hit social media like a freight train. The Buss family had officially voted to sell their remaining 17.8% ownership stake in the Los Angeles Lakers. The buyers in question were none other than high-profile venture capitalist Josh Kushner and former Disney chief executive Bob Iger, who were already in the process of buying out current majority owner Mark Walter. The staggering sticker price for the whole transaction? A mind-boggling, record-shattering $12.5 billion valuation. At first glance, the national narrative appeared completely set in stone. Media outlets across the globe immediately began churning out eulogies for the Buss family's historic 47-year run in Hollywood. Graphic designers drafted goodbye posts, sports talk radio hosts debated who would take over day-to-day basketball operations, and fans began processing the reality that the family legacy, starting with Dr. Jeanie Buss in 1979, was officially coming to a sudden, dramatic end. According to those initial leaks, the mechanics of the sale seemed remarkably straightforward. The Buss Family Trust, created by the late Dr. Jeanie Buss, holds the family's assets, and its voting structure is divided equally among his 6 children: Jeanie, Jim, Johnny, Janie, Joey, and Jesse. Yes, Dr. Buss famously gave nearly all of his children names starting with the letter J, establishing a named dynasty that would rule over Southern California sports for nearly half a century. Under the terms governing the family's joint decisions, executing a major corporate action, such as triggering a tag-along clause to sell their collective shares alongside a majority owner, requires a simple majority vote among the 6 trustees. That means 4 out of 6 votes is all it takes to pass a motion. When the news first broke, reports claimed that the vote wasn't just a simple 4-2 majority. It was initially framed as an overwhelming, unanimous decision, which was later adjusted to state that 5 of the 6 siblings had voted in favor of cashing out their equity. Johnny, Jimmy, Jeanie, Joey, and Jeanie Buss even released a joint statement through ESPN, declaring that they were completely united in their decision to move forward, exit the franchise, and transition the Lakers into a brand new corporate era. It sounded clean, unanimous, and entirely irreversible. The 5 siblings looked like they had executed a brilliant financial coup, securing billions of dollars in liquidity while cleanly stripping away the foundation of the current leadership. Well, hold on just a second. There was one tiny, massive, critical detail omitted from that initial media blitz. Jeanie Buss never agreed to any of it.
1 hour ago, Shams posted this. Jeanie Buss was the lone family member not in favor to sell as the 5 siblings voted 5-0, including 2 of the 3 trustees to sell the Buss stake, sources said. Jeanie Buss' attorney says tonight that she intends to battle the remainder of the family in order to keep their shares.
Jeanie was the lone holdout sibling who adamantly refused to sign off on the transaction or vote in favor of selling the trust's remaining stake. And while a 5-1 vote sounds like an absolute landslide in ordinary mathematics, corporate law and specialized trust litigation operate on an entirely different planet. Within hours of Shams Charania's initial report blasting across the internet, Jeanie Buss went straight to war. Her powerhouse legal team, headed by famed Los Angeles trust attorney Adam Streisand, fired off a blistering legal warning shot aimed directly at the 5 siblings, the prospective buyers, and the sports media at large. Streisand's statement did not mince words. He publicly accused 2 of the siblings, Joey and Jeanie Buss, of orchestrating a malicious, coordinated leak to ESPN in order to push a false narrative and cause maximum public harm to Jeannie's authority. More importantly, Streisand dropped a legal bomb that completely derailed the entire narrative. He declared that any vote conducted by the 5 siblings was legally void, completely unenforceable, and in direct violation of binding court orders and the fundamental rules of the Dr. Jeanie Buss Family Trust.
Yeah, we've just gotten a letter from Jeanie Buss's attorney saying that no sale of the remaining 17.8% Buss family shares can be effectuated without the consent of all 3 of the trustees, okay? That's Jeanie Buss, Joey Buss, and Jeanie Buss. Now, my reporting is 5 of the siblings voted to sell this morning. Jeanie Buss did not vote to sell. And so she's contending through her lawyer that the 5 siblings who voted to sell do not have the right to do that, pursuant to a ruling in 2017 when this was also in court among the trustees. There was a coup that the older brothers tried to dislodge Jeanie from control. And so
to understand why Jeannie's lawyer can claim a 5-1 vote is legally meaningless, you have to rewind the clock back to 2017, the last time the Buss siblings attempted to launch a bloody corporate coup against their sister. Back in early 2017, brothers Jim and Jeanie Buss attempted a hostile takeover of the Lakers' board of directors. They attempted to hold an emergency board meeting to elect a new slate of directors that intentionally excluded Jeanie Buss. Had their plan succeeded, Jeanie would have been stripped of her role as team president and governor, effectively ousting her from running the franchise her father entrusted to her. Jeanie didn't hesitate. She immediately pulled out the heavy artillery, taking her brothers to court and obtaining a temporary restraining order to block the secret meeting. The resulting legal battle ended in a decisive, crushing victory for Jeanie. A Los Angeles County Superior Court judge signed off on a formal, binding legal settlement and court order. That ruling explicitly codified that under the terms of Dr. Jeanie Buss's estate plan, Jeanie Buss is designated as the sole controlling governor of the Los Angeles Lakers for as long as the family holds an ownership stake in the team. Crucially, that 2017 court order contains specific protective safeguards designed precisely for a situation like the one unfolding today. It established that the co-trustees of the Buss Family Trust are legally obligated to take all necessary actions to ensure Jeanie remains the controlling governor. Furthermore, Under long-standing NBA league rules, a team governor must hold at least a 15% equity stake in the franchise to maintain official governing authority. Because the Buss Trust currently owns 17.8% of the Lakers, selling that stake to Josh Kushner and Bob Iger would instantly drop the family's equity down to zero, automatically stripping Jeanie of her governing mandate under NBA law. Therefore, as Adam Streisand pointed out, any attempt by the five siblings to force a sale of that 17.8% stake directly breaches their legal fiduciary duty to maintain Jeanie as the team governor under the 2017 judicial decree. In simple terms, the five siblings tried to pull off a fast one through the media, but Jeanie pulled out a binding legal shield that renders their little 5-to-1 vote completely worthless, unless a judge chooses to overturn a nearly decade-old court ruling. So, how on earth did a family that built the greatest sports show on earth, the Showtime Lakers, the Kobe and Shaq dynasty, the 2020 championship bubble run, devolve into an endless cycle of backstabbing, lawsuits, and public mudslinging? To answer that, you have to follow the money, the bruised egos, and the extreme family dysfunction that has been simmering just beneath the surface for over a year. Last year, the sports world watched in awe when the Buss family agreed to sell a massive, controlling stake in the team to billionaire Mark Walter at a record-setting $10 billion valuation. That initial transaction was hailed by financial analysts as a stroke of financial genius. It allowed the six siblings to cash out hundreds of millions of dollars each, taking life-changing liquidity off the table, while structuring the deal so that Jeanie Buss retained her role as controlling governor of the franchise through at least the year 2030. After taxes and fees, each of the six siblings reportedly walked away with approximately $500 million in cold, hard cash. Now, to an ordinary person, sitting on $500 million in personal net worth while still retaining a minority equity stake in the most famous basketball team on earth sounds like an absolute dream scenario. You would think $500 million would buy you plenty of peace, happiness, luxury, and family harmony, right? Wrong. In the high-stakes world of elite sports ownership, money rarely cures wounded pride. Behind closed doors, the $10 billion deal with Mark Walter created massive, festering wounds among the siblings. According to multiple sources close to the process, several of the Buss siblings felt entirely manipulated, sidelined, and rushed by Jeanie during those negotiations. They believed Jeanie pushed the sale through with minimal consultation, presenting them with a high-pressure, take-it-or-leave-it decision. They felt forced into signing off on the $10 billion deal out of fear that resisting would trigger another public legal battle. To make matters infinitely worse, the aftermath of that sale saw Jeanie systematically consolidate her power inside the Lakers organization. Over the course of the following months, several Buss family members who had previously held prominent, salaried executive positions in player personnel, scouting, and business operations found themselves stripped of their titles, marginalized, or quietly pushed out of day-to-day decision-making entirely. For younger brothers like Joey and Jeanie Buss, who had spent years working inside the organization's basketball operations department and viewing themselves as the rightful basketball heirs to Dr. Jerry Buss, being ousted from the inner circle was an unbearable insult. They felt that Jeanie was treating the Lakers as her personal kingdom, while reducing her brothers to mere passive beneficiaries. A deep, toxic layer of resentment began to boil. The siblings felt trapped in a dynamic where Jeanie held all the prestige, public acclaim, and executive control, while they were relegated to background figures watching her run the franchise. Then, lightning struck the sports business world a second time. Just over a year after acquiring his majority stake, Mark Walter decided to flip his shares. Enter Josh Kushner and Bob Iger. The ultra-wealthy duo swooped in with an astronomical offer to buy Walter's controlling share at a mind-boggling $12.5 billion valuation, a $2.5 billion jump in market value in roughly 12 months. When the news of this new $12.5 billion offer reached the five sidelined Buss siblings, a light bulb went off in their heads. Inside the original transaction agreements with Mark Walter was a standard financial mechanism known as a tag-along provision. This clause gave the Buss family trust the legal right to bundle their remaining 17.8% equity stake into any future sale of the majority interest, allowing them to cash out at whatever premium valuation the majority stake commanded. For Johnny, Jimmy, Jeanie, Joey, and Jesse, The math was intoxicating. Cashing out their remaining 17.8% at a $12.5 billion valuation meant splitting an additional $2.2 billion in cash payouts. That meant hundreds of millions of additional dollars flowing directly into each of their bank accounts. But even more tempting than the money was the opportunity for payback. The siblings realized that by activating the tag-along clause and selling the entire 17.8% stake, they could kill two birds with one stone. First, they would secure complete financial independence, severing all remaining business ties to the franchise. Second, and most importantly, selling the full 17.8% would drop the family's ownership level below the NBA's mandatory 15% threshold, automatically forcing Jeanie Buss to step down as team governor. It was the ultimate corporate Trojan horse. They could walk away with billions of dollars while simultaneously pulling the rug out from under the sister who had ousted them from the front office. So the five siblings huddled together in secret, held their vote, activated the tag-along paperwork, and immediately leaked the narrative to Shams Charania and Espen to create an overwhelming wave of public momentum. They wanted the world to believe the deal was finished before Jeanie even had time to mobilize her defense. However, they severely underestimated Jeanie's resolve and the strength of her legal armor. By launching a public counterattack through Adam Streisand, Jeanie effectively froze the entire transaction in its tracks. Now the entire $12.5 billion deal is suspended in a chaotic state of legal uncertainty. While Bob Iger and Josh Kushner can theoretically complete the purchase of Mark Walters' majority stake, the acquisition of the Buss Trust's 17.8% stake cannot move an inch without explicit approval from a court of law. The dispute is headed straight back to Los Angeles County Superior Court, where judges will have to decide whether the five siblings' right to sell under trust majority rules overrides the binding 2017 court order designed to preserve Jeanie's governor status. This legal showdown exposes a massive, fascinating rift in modern sports media. The public spats between high-profile newsbreakers and top-tier attorneys highlight how corporate sports reporting has become an active battlefield for leverage. When insiders report unsourced leaks from one faction of a family, it can manipulate market perceptions, pressure board members, and influence court proceedings. But as Jeanie's legal team demonstrated, press releases and insider tweets do not supersede signed judicial decrees. Meanwhile, lost in the middle of this multi-billion-dollar family soap opera are the people who actually care about the team on the court, the Los Angeles Lakers fan base. For decades, Lakers fans proudly pointed to the Buss family as the gold standard of NBA ownership. Dr. Jeanie Buss was beloved because he was a passionate fan first and a businessman second. He created the Showtime era, cultivated a Hollywood glamour atmosphere at the Great Western Forum and Staples Center, and wasn't afraid to spend whatever it took to bring championship banners to Los Angeles. When Jeanie took over full control in 2017 and delivered the 2020 NBA championship inside the Orlando bubble, fans praised her for restoring honor to her father's vision. But over the last few years, public perception has shifted dramatically. Today, a significant portion of the fan base is growing deeply exhausted by the perpetual drama, nepotism, and financial limitations associated with the Buss family leadership. If you found this deep dive breakdown insightful, please smash that like button. It truly helps the channel grow and allows us to keep bringing you high-quality sports content. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss an upload.